on our ongoing discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's chant the prayers. Mangala Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namaha Pankajanabhaya Namaha Pankajamaline Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangrahe Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sopadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Name Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome you all once again on our evening sessions going on Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll continue today from Canto 11. So we have seen how Lord Krishna, like all the pastimes of Lord Krishna from his appearance till his Leela in Vrindavan, Leela in Mathura, Leela in Dwarika, and all other places. And now, actually, the time has come for Krishna to go back to his, abode and finish his pastime in this in this earthly planet. So now we enter chapter, Canto 11 today, and Canto 11 has 31 chapters, and where basically we'll see about the philosophy again, and a very very relevant discussion between Nimi Maharaj and Yogendra, and then we'll see how Krishna's plan to take away everyone, all the Yadu Dynasty. There's so many people over there in Yadu Dynasty, and how Krishna has made a plan to take away everything back. And then in this canto we will also see a very very great teachings that's also called as Uddhava Gita. So we know about Bhagavad Gita that Krishna has spoken Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna in Kurukshetra, and here we will see that how Lord Krishna is giving another kind of Gita to Uddhava, that's also called as Uddhava Gita, and that's again very very philosophical stuffs, and Krishna has actually empowered Uddhava as well. And because I can see Krishna has given this knowledge to Arjuna as a Bhagavad Gita, because Arjuna was his very very dear devotee and friend. In a similar way, Uddhava, he also very very dear devotee, and Krishna is giving this knowledge to Uddhava as well. So the Krishna could have given this knowledge to anyone he wanted, to Vishnu Pitama, to Dronacharya, to Duryodhana, and anyone. However, Krishna chose Arjuna to give his knowledge, because that's again a teachings come that we can understand Krishna only we can have a favorable towards Krishna. We will see in this chapter also, when Nārada Muni explains that all the demons, they also, by associating with Krishna, because by just remembering Krishna in an envious way, they all got liberated. So what to speak about those who associate or try to associate with Krishna in loving affair, or with love, or with chanting his holy name in a favorable condition? So what happens to those? They are more glorious, isn't it? So that's how Krishna has spoken Gita to Arjuna, and he'll speak again Gita to Uddhava as well. And many people know this as called as Uddhava Gita. So this very 11th canto comes with that. So having said that, let's start chapter 1. And the chapter 1 says, title is The Curse Upon the Yadu Dynasty. Yesterday a question came up that what happens to all these Yadus? We have 38.8 million teachers. Just imagine how much popular it will be of all Yadu's dynasty. And now, Sukadeva Goswami continues after glorifying Krishna in 90 chapters. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, we have 335 chapters, and 90 chapters are about, even whole Bhagavatam is all about Krishna, but 90 chapters specifically about Krishna Leela. All the pastimes of Krishna from childhood till he wanted to go back to his abode. So now Sukadeva Goswami continues saying that Lord Krishna, accompanied with Lord Balaram, and by so many Yadu dynasty, they executed the killing of many demons. Many demons got liberated, and the purpose of Krishna's coming. Remember, in the very first canto, where Mother Earth, she went to Lord Brahma and said that I'm in distress. Please help me out. And then Krishna came. Krishna assured to Brahmaji that I will come there. Don't worry. So now Sukadeva Goswami continues saying that. So Krishna removed the burden of the earth, and then also Lord arranged the great battle of Kurukshetra, where so many burden of the earth being removed, and Pandavas they became the instrument in this field. And then because Pandavas were regularly harassed by Kauravas, and I was hearing a lecture sometimes back, and it was described that we all know that Krishna personally went to Kauravas to make conclusion, or to find this result of not to have fight, what we say as sandhi. And then Duryodhana didn't accepted Krishna's word. He said no, Pandavas they will just need five villages to rule, and then they will be satisfied. However, Duryodhana said no, I won't give whatever speak about 5 village. I won't give a land which can actually live on the tip of a needle. So I won't give this much land to Pandavas, what to speak of village. And the devotee was explaining very nicely. He's saying that Duryodhana is talking to himself. He's thinking that, oh Krishna, whatever you are saying is actually very, very correct, isn't it? Just give 5 villages to these Pandavas and live and rule this kingdom happily. However, you within me inspiring not to accept what you are saying from outside. So because Krishna as a Paramatma, he resides within our heart, and he knows the intentions of us. And the Krishna, he is in front of Duryodhana, he's saying that give 5 lands and finish this war. Don't have to fight, or don't have to go for this battle. And you within me as a Paramatma inspiring not to accept your words. The same thing also been described earlier as when the whole Mahārāta being finished, and Yudhishthira Maharaj enthroned into the kingdom over there of Hastinapur. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj was actually feeling very sorrow that because of this throne only so many people have died, and I am the root cause. Yudhishthira Maharaj, see his humbleness. He's saying I am the root cause of everything. And then Krishna tried to pacify Yudhishthira Maharaj, but again Yudhishthira Maharaj was not being convinced by Krishna. That's the devotees give again an example of why. It's because Krishna wanted to give credit to Vishnu Pitamaha, so that Vishnu Pitamaha, when Vishnu Pitamaha will dispel the darkness of Yudhishthira Maharaj, that why he is being sorrow, then he will get clear. So Krishna, he could have wanted, he could have given all the knowledge to Yudhishthira Maharaj and dispel his doubt as well, but still he wanted to give this honor to Vishnu Pitama. In the similar way, Krishna gave honor to Arjuna. By through Arjuna, he has given us to all this whole world, given the Bhagavad Gita teachings. And here he will give the teachings to Uddhava. And from Uddhava, actually, he's speaking to all of us. And anyone who accepts these words of Krishna, and they becomes a devotee and accepts Lord. And anyone who doesn't, they become the other way around, right? So Krishna made Pandavas as his instrument for this whole Kurukshetra war. And because this Kauravas, they had done so many in past activities, and they harassed Pandavas in many different way. Even they insulted verbally. Even they seized Draupadi's, and they wanted to disrobe Draupadi in the assembly, and so many other things we know from Mahabharata as well. And then Lord was actually personally protecting this Yadu dynasty, and then Lord thought that no outsider force can even bring defeat to this family, because they were so powerful as well, and Krishna is protecting them. So Krishna thought that no outside force can actually defeat this family. So he was thinking in him, if I inspire this dynasty to quarrel between each other, and then that's the only way they can actually finish this dynasty. And as if like we see the forest fire, the trees, they rub each other, and then the fire happens and the forest get burned. So Krishna thought in this way, and then he said, by this I'll finish my I'll achieve my real purpose, and then I'll return back to my eternal abode. In this way, Lord withdraws his own family from a curse spoken by the Brahmanas in an assembly. By hearing this, Parikshit Maharaj inquired a question to Sukadeva Goswami that how could these Brahmanas, they curse these Vrishnis, and how this Yadu dynasty, they got cursed by these Brahmanas, and even this Yadu dynasty, all the people were there actually so much respectful towards Brahmanas, and they were all charitable. They are all they are always absorbed in the thought of Krishna. Then how could these Brahmanas curse this kind of people? What is that? And he wanted to understand this. And then Sukadeva Goswami continues saying that once so many sages, they went to holy places called Pindarka, and there it's nearby Dwarika, and there these young boys of Yadu dynasty, they had brought Samba. Samba is a son of Jambavati. So they have brought Samba in a dress of a woman garb, right? They made Samba as a woman, like a pregnant lady, and they brought, with all veil and others, they brought Samba in front of these all sages. And in a playful mood, they all approached to the sages, and they said that, oh sages, you know everything, and this lady is pregnant, and she's about to give a birth. Could you please tell us her child is going to be a boy or a girl? And when they asked this question to sages, these sages, they become a bit, they know very well what it is, and they become angry on that. And then they say that the fools, they gave a curse. That's again a plan of Krishna only. He wanted to make this curse through the Brahmana, and then I will see the next part what happens over there. And then they say, angry sages, they say, the fools, she will bear you an iron club, and that will destroy your entire dynasty. So you are trying to pretend, and as you are playing with us, so she will give birth, and that birth will be a iron rod, iron club, and that will become the that iron club will become the cause of your whole destroy of your entire dynasty. And by hearing this boy, they become all they uncovered this the belly of Samba, and they could found that there was an iron club. And this boy, they was thinking that, what have we done? We just trying to be playful, we have done a great blunder, and we are so unfortunate. And they immediately brought this iron club towards King Ugrasen. And then Ugrasen, by seeing this and by seeing the condition of these boys, he guided that they grind this iron into dust and then throw into the ocean. And as guided by Ugrasen, they all went there and they grinded this all iron club, and still there were some lump of iron would remain, and then they threw all the dust on the ocean. However, this was not being consulted by Krishna. Krishna though knew it, but it was not being consulted by Krishna, and that Yogendras just guided him, and the the boys or the Yadus people, they did as per guidance by Ugrashen. And then because of the waves, we all know, because of waves, these bits of iron, they carried back to the shore, and then these powders and some of the the lumps of iron, they became uh, very huge, tall and sharp canes, iron canes. It became there. It grew like that. And then uh, there's a pastime also. There is the fish. There is a fish one who actually caught this iron lump in that, and then iron lump in the fish's stomach was taken by a hunter called Jara, and who fixed it in an arrowhead at the end of his shaft. And Krishna came to know about all this event, and however, he was capable of reversing the curse by the Brahmanas, but he did not wish to. And rather he sanctioned this event. Okay, let it go, because he only planned to take away all these Yadus back to Godhead with him, and so that he could finish his pastime, and he can go back to his abode. So that's chapter 1. And then in chapter 2, title says that Mahārāja Nimi meets 9 Yogendra. So now, by understanding this curse on the Yadu Dynasty, and then even Vasudeva, he came to know that looks like Krishna is going to disappear soon. And then Vasudeva, he approached Nārada Muni for enlightenment. So Nārada Muni was there. He saw all the sages, they came over there. So Nārada Muni was there in Dwarika for some time. And one day, Nārada Muni came to the house of Vasudeva, and Vasudeva, as there's a custom, so he worshipped him very nicely. He welcomed Narada Muni very nicely. He offered his nice seat, and he washed his feet and others. And after that, he said that, no, you visit for the benefit of all the living being. And there it says that the activities of demigods, they sometimes they leads to both miseries and happiness to living entities, right? For the living beings. And however, these pure devotees like you always give happiness to the people, and then it explained that how the activities of demigods or devatas, they lead to misery and happiness. It's saying that the devatas, they are attendants of the karma, and the sadhus, they are actually merciful to the all fallen. It means that we people, when we worship the devatas, they only give what it is in our karma, and that's why we sometimes get happiness, sometimes we get miseries. And then by glorifying Narada Muni, it says like like the shadow has no power to move in a way different from the movement of body. So we just very nice or a clear example that wherever you move, the shadow follows it. It cannot move by its own accord, isn't it? Similarly, as stated here in this verse, it says the results given by the devatas, they award to the living entity or the living being exactly correspond to the living being's activity. So the way we act, if we act in a positive way or in a good way, we get these things, and if we act in a sinful way, we get the results of the sinful activities. So that might be we get the result very soon, or it might take years, it might take lifetimes, no matter, but whatever we do, we actually get it back, either pious and impious. And then by saying that, this says, though these devatas, they are much more powerful than this living entity. So definitely these all devatas, they are much more powerful than we living beings. However, they are ultimately a servant of Lord Krishna. And then he gives an example of Prithvi Maharaj. Though Prithvi Maharaj, an empowered incarnation of the Lord, state that even the devatas are subject to punishment by the Lord if they deviate from his laws. So the laws what Krishna makes, if they deviate from that, they used to get punishment as well. And by saying that, and he says, on the other hand, actually, Vasudeva is glorifying, or even he is saying is about the mixed devotees and the pure devotees. The devata, they are mixed devotees, they have the desire to enjoy as well. And however, these devotees like Nārada Muni, they are completely pure devotees. They have no desire, just wanted to spread the message of Krishna consciousness. And he said, on the other hand, devotees of the Lord, such as Nārada Muni, by their potent preaching, they can interfere in the karma of a living being by persuading him to give him the fruitive activity and mental speculation and surrender to Supreme Lord. So these great saintly persons, they can interfere even in our karma as well. Just imagine, right? So this the association of the pure devotees are, it's uncomparable to anything, right? So they can actually tweak our karma. Even it is being described in Bhagavad Gita as well. I was hearing a lot of talk long time back how Krishna interfere in the results of a devotee. One devotee I remember, it's I think 3 years back. He got a dream one day, and actually on the previous day, he somehow or other he has cut his calf, in right calf somehow or other, and it got couple of 3 or 4 stitches over there. And then on the night, he got a dream. He got a dream that he had a car accident. And when the morning he got up, he understood that Krishna has actually tweaked my car accident into just 3-4 stitches in my calf. So that's the way how devotee, you know, take it, and how this is the way how Krishna actually acts towards the devotee. Right? There was going to happen in a car accident, but Krishna has tweaked it to the pure devotees. Just he has given a token, miseries is there, it has to become. So, but just Krishna gave as a token reaction, not the complete reaction, right? So by glorifying this, and then Vasudeva, he inquires a few questions from Nārada Muni. He says, in my previous life, I have worshipped Lord to have a child. Rather, I knew that Krishna can give us liberation, but I didn't went for liberation. I just worshipped to get a child. And so please instruct me that I may easily free from this metal existence, and I can go back got it. However, Vasudeva is anyway completely elevated. He's all transcendental because he has become the father and mother, father of Lord Sri Krishna. So there was no question of being entangled with the metal existence. He was completely free, but just to guide us as a common people, he has asked a question over there. And we'll see it. Nārada Muni, after explaining this, he concludes the saying by saying the same thing to Vasudeva, that you and Mother Devaki are perfect because Lord Krishna has came as your son. So there is no tinge of kind of karma within you. You all are perfect. Nothing to worry over that. But to answer this question, Narada Muni, he elaborately gives another instance to describe this in nearly 3 or 4 chapters. And then Narada Muni, he became very, very pleased by the questions of Vasudeva. And then he says that he gives a conclusion answer that how can someone be free from material existence? And then he elaborates that point as well. He says that pure devotional service rendered to Supreme Lord is spiritually so potent that simply by hearing about such transcendental service, just imagine, by hearing about the transcendental service, by chanting its glorious in response, by meditating on it, by respectfully and faithfully accepting it, or by praising the devotional service of others, even persons who hate the demigods and all other living beings can be immediately purified. I repeat this verse. This is a very, very nice verse. It says, pure devotional service rendered to the Supreme Lord is spiritually so potent. So devotional service is actually so potent that simply by hearing about the such transcendental service, anyone who is doing service, if we are hearing about that transcendental service, or by chanting the glorious to the person who has done the service, or by meditating upon the service, or by respectfully and faithfully accepting it, or by praising the devotional service of others. Even persons who hate the devatas and all other living beings can be immediately purified. So just imagine, this is actually contrast, like how even if someone is so sinful that he is hateful toward the devatas, he is hateful toward the living beings, then also that person can be purified. So imagine if someone does devotional service towards Lord Krishna with full faith and with full guidelines of the spiritual master, what can he not achieve? And by saying this, Narada Muni continues saying that he wanted to explain the pure devotional service, and he says, I'll narrate a conversation between the great king of Veda called as Nimi, or King Nimi Maharaj, and the sons of Rishabh. So remember, back in fifth canto, we discussed about the Lord Rishabdev, and he had 100 sons. So quickly, Narada Muni summarizes those 100 sons of of Rishabdev, and Rishabdev has 100 sons, and one headed by Bharat Maharaj, and then the ninth son, they ruled the 9 islands, and then after that 81 son, they became a Brahmana, they followed this all rituals things, and then the remaining nine sons of Rishabh, they were very, very greatly fortunate sages, and they vigorously work to spread the knowledge of absolute truth. So these 9, they also call as Nava Yogendra, right? 9 these sons of Rishabdeva, they are called as Nava Yogendra, and they actually are always fully engaged in spreading the knowledge of absolute truth about Lord Sri Krishna. And they wandered naked everywhere, and they are very, very well versed in spiritual science. So Narada Muni glorified these Navayogendras, and he said about their names were Kavi, Havir, Antariksha, Prabuddha, Pipalayan, and Avirhotra, Durmula, Chamasha, and Karvajana. And then by saying this, he says that once Nimi Maharaj, he was performing a sacrifice in Ajanava. So in the place of Ajanava, Nimi Maharaj, he is in a dynasty of Ikshvaku dynasty, and he was performing a sacrifice, and there Navayogendra, this 9 son of Rishabdev called as Navayogendra, they arrived. So 9 brothers and 9 sons of Rishabdev, they arrived there in the sacrifice made by Nimi Maharaj, and they said that the pure devotees of Lord Vishnu, they wander throughout the universe to purify all the conditioned souls. So we have been hearing this from starting of the Srimad Bhagavatam, from even first canto, where Yudhishthira Maharaj says that the pure devotees, they keep Lord within them, their heart, and wherever they wander, they actually purify this conditioned soul. You remember, so many verses we have actually gone through for this point, that how the devotees, they purify things. Even when Bhagirathi, he praised, he worshipped Mother Ganges, and he wanted Mother Ganga to come down. Then also Mother Ganges said, okay, here people are so impious, and they will actually, if I pierce this earth, and I'll go into the other loka, and there these demons, and they will bathe in my water, and they get purified, and my water will all impure. Then what I will do? Then also Bhagirath told that, oh Mother Ganges, do not worry, that when these pure devotees of Lord, when they will take bath in you, you will get purified as well, right? So the sinful activity, sinful reactions acquired by the sinful people in the Mother Ganges, they get cleaned up by the devotees when they take bath in this rivers, right? So that's how here Narada Muni glorify again the pure devotees of Lord Vishnu, that they wander throughout the universe just to purify all the conditioned soul. They do not have any other desire, right? And there is a very important verses comes here. It says the importance of our human life. Durlabho manaso deho dehi nam chana bangura tatrapi durlabham manne vaikuntha priyadarsanam. See, durlabho manaso deho. This human life is very rare, isn't it? Is very rare. And dehinam chana bangura. This life, this human body can be taken away at a blink of our eyes, isn't it? Within a fraction of a second, it can go away. We do not. No one knows when it can go. And then Nārada says, "Tatrapi durlamam manne." Even though the rarest is what? Vaikuntha priyadarsanam. The rarest is the association of pure devotees of Lord. So I'll read the translation. It says, "For the conditioned souls, the human body is the most difficult to achieve, and it can be lost at any moment of time. However, but I think that even those who have achieved the human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord, Vaikuntha Priyadarsanam." So to associate with the pure devotees of Lord is the rarest in this material world, especially in Kali Yuga. We find so many, Vaikuntha Priyadarsanam, very devotees on other yugas, but in Kali Yuga it's become very difficult to find pure devotees of Lord. And then when these sages come, this Nimi Maharaj glorify this Yogendra by saying that it's very rare to see pure devotees of Lord. And then he started asking questions, so inquiring questions. So he asked 9 questions to Yogendras, and each question is being answered by one of the Yogendras. Right. Okay, let's continue. So question 1, they ask, then they ask 9 questions, and the first question they ask that, kindly tell me what is the supreme good for all living entities. So remember, this kind of similar questions is being started earlier when we started Bhagavatam as well. The 6 questions from where this Bhagavatam started. What is the ultimate goal for everyone? What are Krishna's leelas? What is Guna avatars? And where this dharma took place when Krishna went back to the Golak, Vrindavan. So these 6 questions, again, this kind of same question is being asked by Nimi Maharaj to Yogendra. That kindly tell me what the supreme good. And he says, even a half of moment's association with pure devotees within this world of birth and death is a priceless treasure for any man. Right. So Nimi Maharaj is saying that even if half a moment of association with pure devotees within this world of birth and death, in this Murtyaloka, is a priceless treasure for any man. So association of devotee is a priceless, isn't it? And the Narada Muni says that one of these Navayogendra, called as first Sri Ravi. So Sri Ravi, he replies to this question. He says that what is the supreme good? The supreme good, he says, as bhāgavata-dharma, or devotional service. And then he explained this bhāgavata-dharma, what it is. He says anyone can achieve real freedom from this material world only by worshipping the lotus feet of the infallible Supreme Lord. Right. So just by worshipping the Supreme Lord, anyone can become free from dangers as well. That's a real freedom. So we are always in the state of fear, isn't it? There are 3 kinds of fear. The past, in present, and the future. We lament for the past, what has gone, and we fear in the present what's going to happen, and also we fear for the future. And in present we fear for accumulated things, and it should not go away. And then in future we fear for what will happen for the future. And any kind of we are not in a free state. And then when we worship lotus feet of Lord Krishna, the infallible Supreme Lord, the persons can become really free. And then he says, in such a devotional service, all fear ceases entirely. All kind of fears goes away by worshipping lotus feet of Krishna's. And then he glorifies, the Sri Ravi, one of the Navayogendra. He says, even ignorant living entities can very easily come to know the Supreme Lord. So we have discussed earlier that there is no qualification needed to know Supreme Lord. And now here Sri Ravi is saying that even an ignorant living entities can easily come to know Supreme Lord if, what is the condition? If they adopt those means prescribed by the Supreme Lord himself. So whatever Krishna has told, if any person that follows it, he can actually know Krishna. And this process recommended by the Lord is known as bhāgavata-dharma, or devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna says in a Bhagavad Gita as well very clearly that sarva dharmam parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. So that's the instruction given by Krishna clearly, that this is the process called as bhāgavata-dharma, and that's being spoken by Lord Krishna. So here Sri Ravi is saying that any living entity can actually easily come to know about Lord Sri Krishna or the Supreme Lord if they adopt those means prescribed by Supreme Lord himself. So Krishna has prescribed that mana mana bhava mad bhakto, just think of me, remember me, worship me, offer me, pay obeisances to me, right? And Krishna says in last chapter of Bhagavad Gita that sarva dharmam parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja, so just surrender unto me. So these are the prescribed by Lord Sri Krishna himself, and that dharma is called as bhāgavata-dharma, as described by Sri Ravi here. And then he closes, he glorifies again. He says, anyone who follow this path will never fall, even if they run with their closed eyes. So see again the glorification of bhakti. He's saying that anyone who closes his eye and follows this instruction of Krishna, even if they run, they don't fall down. That's the essence of the he says. And then the translation says that one who accepts this process of devotional service or bhāgavata-dharma to the Supreme Personality of Godhead will never blunder on his path in this world. And even while running with closed eyes, he will never trip or fall down. So just imagine the potency of devotional service. And then he continues glorifying or explaining his answer more. He says, whatever one does with body, words, mind, senses, intelligence, or purified consciousness, one should offer to the Supreme, thinking this is for the pleasure of Lord Narayana. So whatever we do, so the point is, we are allowed to do whatever we want, but however, when we start offering those to Krishna, that is the ultimate thing. That is how we can actually go on to the stages of goodness, and also to more or higher than goodness, that's called as pure goodness or Shuddha Sattva. And then he says that the root of fear, why we are always in the fearful condition in this material world, he says the fear arises when a living entity misidentifies himself as a material body and lack of knowledge about the soul. So when someone doesn't know about the soul, he thinks everything as relations to the body, that is the actual illusion, and that's why the fear arises. And then this bewildering fearful condition is affected by the potency of illusion that is called as Maya. And he says, therefore, an intelligent person should engage unflinchingly in an unalloyed devotional service to the Lord under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, whom he should accept as his worshipable deity and as his very life and soul. So accepting spiritual master and making the instruction of spiritual master as his life and soul, one can actually overcome this fear or overcome this Maya. And then he says, by the influence of his own conditional intelligence, the conditioned soul experiences this material world as real, though the material world does not ultimately exist. So this material world exists, but it's not eternal, it's temporary. And we can only know this when we inquire from a bona fide spiritual master, when we give up the mentality of this body, when we know about that actually there is soul, which is actually the real important thing than this body, right? I think it has some more points in this question. Okay, let's try to go for more 3-4 minutes and then see. And then he says that an intelligent person who has controlled his mind and conquered the fear by giving up all this material attachment, how he can do? By chanting the holy name of Supreme Lord, and one comes to the stage of love of Godhead. So by chanting this holy name of Supreme Lord, one can come to the stage of love of Godhead, which is actually the ultimate thing what we can get, getting the love of Godhead. So by chanting the holy name, we can get the love of Godhead. And then the devotee, he says, the devotee is who is fixed in his vow as an eternal servant of Lord. So we are all servant of Lord, eternal servant of Lord, in fact. And then he gradually becomes very much attached to a particular name and form of Supreme Lord. So this, we see there are so many forms of Lord. Now we have Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord Jagannath, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even so Lord Rama. So it happens with everyone has, as we said earlier, that the relationship we have with Krishna is very unique, and everyone has to find his relationship with Krishna, and then he becomes attached to that form and started worshipping them, and then he started chanting his glorious names of Lord. And then he says that the devotee should not see anything as being separate from Lord. So everything in this world is somehow or other connected to Supreme Lord. Right. And then last 2 points, he says very nicely that devotion, 3 things, how can we experience it very nicely? The devotion, direct experience of Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. So these three goes parallelly. Devotion, direct experience of Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. These 3 occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So many times we think about how can I become detached from this material world, isn't it? We think, we question ourselves, how can I become detached? But it's not about just detaching. It's actually about attaching ourselves to the path of spirituality, to the path of devotion towards Lord Sri Krishna. So here Sri Ravi is explaining that devotion, direct experience of Supreme Lord. Many times we ask question, how can we experience Supreme Lord? So here the answer, the devotion, direct experience of Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. These 3 occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And how he explains the example. He says, when we eat something, when we take food, 3 things happens. Though we do not know, but 3 things happens. When we do eat food, when we become hungry, isn't it? There is no other requirement for eating food. When we become hungry, we eat food. And what happens? 3 things happens. First, our hunger get relief. 2 more things happen, though we don't realize it, but it happens. What happens? We get pleasure. Wow, the food is very tasty today. It's very nice. And then third thing is nourishes our body. So just as person eat the food without knowing the other 2 things, he just wanted to relieve his hunger. By relieving his hunger, the pleasure and nourishment, it automatically happens, isn't it? In a similar way, when someone faithfully surrender to lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, take shelter of his lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna with devotion, then he can experience the presence of Supreme Lord, then he can become detached from other things as well, right? And then last point, he says, with constant endeavor, how can we achieve it? The question comes, how can we achieve this? How can we achieve endeavor, devotion? Answer is says that with constant endeavor, with the devotee can achieve unflinching devotion and detach from and experience supreme knowledge of personality of Godhead. So point is, we need to make a step, we need to make an endeavor to experience Krishna directly and to become detached from other things, right? And in this way, a successful devotee of Lord achieve the supreme spiritual peace, right? So we have just discussed question number 1. Sorry for we taking more time today, but I thought to clear question number 1, then we can continue question 2 tomorrow. Any thought, any question? Again, I know it's again going to be more philosophical, this Canto 11 as well. And forgive me if I could not explain anything nicely in context. Okay, if there is no question, then we can end today here, and we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की
Jai.
शिल प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
Jai.
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare